These are 10 comics you need to own before they become too expensive. Want to know what they are? Well, you know what to do. Stick around. This video is sponsored by PGX Grading Services. Get 10% off your first submission by using the code WeLoveComics10% on your order form. Link in description. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Chris, and this is my channel, We Love Comics. And today I'm doing a video that could help especially some of the newer people out there of books that you really need to get before they get way too expensive. And the idea is, if you want to add comics to your collection, well, the cheaper you can get them, the better, so why spend more money if you don't have to? So some of these books, especially near the end of this list, they're going to get pretty expensive, but they, in my opinion, still have a lot of room to grow, and a lot of it is pretty much based on movies that will be coming out in the future. So let's start out with some of the cheaper ones that are pretty affordable. And again, like I said, some of them are expensive, but I mean, if you can find one in a lower grade, you're gonna profit from it most likely, almost pretty much guaranteed. So let's get number 1. Well, actually, it's number 10. This, in my opinion, is a book, honestly, you should have got a couple years ago, but it's still, even with the price increases, still has not reached its potential, provided the movie doesn't get canceled. Now, the things going on with DC and their movies with Warner Brothers, it's kind of hit or miss at this point. Nothing is really guaranteed. So this one's kind of risky. That's why I said years ago, back in 2015, I was telling people to get this. So if you got it back then, I mean, you'd luck out. Like, this book is graded a CGC 9.4. I paid under $100 for it. I don't have the exact price on this one, but I know I paid under $100 for it because I got it years ago. And if the movie does come out and it does well, speculators are going to go crazy and these books are going to rise. So it's a still affordable book that you can get and still have wiggle room. But that's the most risky of them all. All right, number 9. Another book that I was telling people to get years ago. This book has definitely risen in price. I was averaging paying about $25 to $30 for these books back in 2015. This is a 9.2. I spent about $80 on. And this is Miss Marvel issue number 1, which is the first Carol Danvers as Miss Marvel. We do know that she is going to be having a movie in the next, I don't know if it's the next year or 2 years from now. I think it's next year. Correct me if I'm wrong, but usually these comics don't rise until there is a trailer for it. So that hasn't come out yet, so the buzz isn't there. And if you know anything about comic collectors, a lot of them base it on, what everybody else is doing and what's hot at that moment. So this is still an affordable book that I think still has room to grow. All right, number 8. This is a book, well, I'm going to do 8 and 7 at the same time because this is pretty much either one of these you really need to get. This is, right here to the left, Forever People, issue number 1. And this one here is Superman's ex-pal, the new Jimmy Olsen, issue number 134. Now, these are the first cameo and the first full appearance of Darkseid. Now, if the DC movies get back on track, it's just a matter of time before Darkseid, or Darkseid, whatever you want to pronounce it, gets to be in a movie. And he was actually supposed to be in the Justice League movie. So this one still has room to grow. I think because of the Justice League movie, people got disappointed that he wasn't in it. So there's not as much interest in it at this moment. That is the best time to grab these. Now, even though this is the first full appearance, this one tends to be more desirable. It's one of the few exceptions to the rule over the fact that people love the full appearance over a cameo. I mean, Darkseid isn't on either one of these covers, so it's not about that. I think it's pretty much the artwork here. But most people say this is the one to get. Price-wise, get both. These are books you could still get for around $100 to $125 in mid-grade. Obviously, if you're getting a 9.8, you're going to spend a lot more money. But, I mean, again, still wiggle room. Okay, so that's 8 and 7. Okay, we got number 6. This one is going to be not extremely expensive, but I'm surprised it's as economical as it is. This, of course, is Incredible Hulk number 180, which is the first appearance of Wolverine. Now, it's a cameo, which is on the last panel of this comic book, but this is still the first time you've ever seen a major character. And with Wolverine, knock on wood, going over to Marvel, if all things go well, this book has so much potential. And you could still get it for a decent price. Now, you're going to talk a couple of hundred if you're getting it graded. Like, for example, this 8.0 cost me $400. But you can still get raw copies for $125 and under, which to me is amazing for such a major character. If the deal goes through with Fox and Marvel, well, Disney, and Wolverine ends up in a movie, forget it. This book is going to be out of reach. So you still have time to get this book, especially if you can't afford the more expensive one. All right, this is another book you could still get for decent prices. It's going to still be a little expensive, but still has room to grow. And this is Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 1. This is the first appearance of the Sinister Six. I really feel that this is something that could potentially be in a future Spider-Man movie. This one's pure speculation. There's only rumors at this point. Obviously, nothing has been confirmed. But that's the time you want to take the chance, because once it's confirmed, the price is going to double. Now, of course, if it's confirmed. But, I mean, with all these key characters, I mean, we've already seen the Vulture. Who knows if you get to see the others? I would love to see Mysterio in a Spider-Man movie, and I'm sure a lot of people would like that. I mean, you've already seen Electro, Sandman, Kraven's another one people would love. You've seen Dr. Octopus, so they got plenty of villains in the Amazing Spider-Man lore. But this is a must-have book, and you probably pay for a lower grade, around 150, maybe 200. And obviously, again, higher grades you're going to spend sometimes into the thousands. But just to show you, I paid $60 for this book, and I only paid for it about a year ago. So it's not in the greatest condition. I'd probably say it's a 1.8 to a 2.0, but even still, another book look out for. Okay. This is definitely a book you need to add to your collection if you don't have it. This is the all-new, all-different X-Men issue number 94. This is when the new X-Men appear for the first time in the X-Men comics. Right before that, they were actually doing reprints. I mean, it was going so bad for the X-Men franchise. This is one of those books, again, once the movies, knock on wood, happen with Marvel, these books are going to really get out of reach. Now, this one's one of the more affordable ones. You could still pick this book up mid-grade or lower for under $200. And this particular book, I spent $219. So, like I said, around the $200 range. And this one's, the seller claimed it to be a 6.5 to a 7.0. So, I mean, you can get lower grades for much cheaper. So this is still affordable. But I think if a movie comes out with Marvel and they kind of, straighten out the whole timeline issues that were going on, it's another book that could get out of reach. Okay, and along those lines, this is definitely going to be included in that. This is Giant Size X-Men issue number 1. This is their first appearance of all of the characters you see here, obviously except for Cyclops. And it's the second full appearance of Wolverine. But you have the first appearance of Nightcrawler, you have Thunderbird, you have Colossus, and you have Storm. So major characters, and I believe if they brought the X-Men, when they do the X-Men movie, they're going to use this version of the X-Men. I don't know if they're going to do the original. But even still, even if they did the original version, all X-Men books are going to be rising in value. Obviously, X-Men number 1 is one to get, but I mean, you're talking in the thousands of dollars, so I'm trying to keep it within price ranges that most people can afford. This book is going to be an expensive book. This is a 6.5. I paid, for some reason I scratched it off, but I know I paid around $350. So even for a lower grade, you're probably going to spend $275 to $400 for this book. So it's getting up there in price, but again, I really think it's got a lot more room to grow. So if you don't have this one in your collection, get it. You probably won't see an X-Men movie if the deal goes through until 2021, 2022. So you still have time, but the longer you wait, the higher the price is going to go. So don't wait too long, even if you can get a low grade, because to me, low grade is better than no grade. All right, so now the top 3. This is an absolute must-have. I was telling people for years to get this book. I could not believe how low this comic got because of that dreaded Fantastic Four movie that came out a couple of years ago. The good thing sometimes about movies gone wrong is it could dramatically take away from the value of the comics because people stand clear of it. And that's the exact time to pounce on these. So the best time to have purchased these, obviously if you didn't get it years ago or back in the 80s, would have been about a year or two ago, right after that movie came out. But this is still an affordable book because the first time they put Fantastic Four in a Marvel movie, these books are probably going to double from what you could see now. Now, I can't guarantee that, but this is such an iconic book. I mean, you have 2 major characters introducing for the first time in here. You have the first full appearance of the Silver Surfer, and you have the cameo appearance of Galactus. So 49 is another book that I would include. That one's obviously going to be a lot cheaper, but that's the first full appearance of Galactus. But again, because of the fact that this one has the first appearance of the Silver Surfer, excuse me, this one's going to be a lot more desirable. Now, this one I bought raw and sent to PGX a couple years ago. It got graded a 5.0. I paid $325 for this book. Price has gone up. Expect to spend around $400 to $500 for a mid-grade copy, which again is around a 4.5 to around a 5.0. Kind of expensive, but considering what it could be worth once you see Silver Surfer or Galactus, or just the Fantastic Four for that matter, on a Marvel film, forget it. These books are going to be out of reach again, so grab it while the opportunity is still there. All right, 2 more. This is another Fantastic Four. This one's going to be expensive, but again, it has so much potential, it's not even funny. Now, this book is only a 2.0, and I spent over $1,000 on this book. So it shows how expensive this book is. Now, obviously, if you buy it raw, you have a better chance of getting a better price, especially in lower grade. But expect to spend between $750 and $1,200 just for a lower grade. Mid grades, you're talking $2,000-$3,000. So this one's going to be a little out of most people's range. But even if you can get a 0.5 and you spend $700 for it, somewhere in that range, you know that it's just a matter of time that Doctor Doom is going to be done right with Marvel. And the way that this character was previously done in the last movies that he was in, especially the last one, Marvel fans are dying to see him done right. And this is a character that should be done right. And with Marvel not having very major amounts of good characters as far as villains are concerned in their movies, this one, forget it. I really think the sky's the limit on this book, and this could become an untouchable in years to come. So again, expensive book, but you could probably double your investment, if not more, once we find out that Doctor Doom is in a Marvel movie. I'm cross your fingers and hope so. But like I said, I spent $1,100 on this book. So it's not cheap, but the rewards for it, sometimes you got to spend money to make money. All right, so last but not least, this is definitely a must-have. If you do not have this book, even if you can get it in lower grade, I'd recommend getting it with the Marvel stamp, but if you can't afford that, something's better than nothing. Obviously, this is the Incredible Hulk issue number 181, which is the first full appearance of Wolverine. This is the book that everybody wants. I mean, 180 is still a great book to have, like I said, but this is the one everybody wants. And again, this is going to be based on the fact of the potential Marvel movies, whether Wolverine gets his own solo movie or he's part of the entourage of the X-Men. Once Marvel does this character right and keeps the popularity growing, this book is just going to be so out of reach. It's already getting to that point. I mean, I paid about a little bit over $1,500 for this book about 2 years ago. This book currently is worth about $2,400 to $2,500. So, of course, this is a higher grade, but you're talking even a 2.0, you're going to spend about $600-700. Because every time I've seen these on eBay, there's a lot of people bidding because they know the potential of what's coming. So you're going to pay a lot for this, but again, you're going to get a lot back in return. So even if you can only afford a 1.0, which would cost you probably around $500 to $600, try and get one with a Marvel stamp. And just sit back and wait and get it before the movies come out. Because once they're out, forget it. A 1.0 will probably be about $800-900 to $1,000. Because this is a major character. And he definitely deserves his due. So will he ever get to the Spider-Man prices? Probably not. Especially since it's a Bronze Age book. But you will definitely reap the rewards. So those are my 10 books that you should have in your collection. If you have to save up tin cans, if you have to rake some leaves, if you have to just save your birthday money, these are the books you should be getting in your collection before the movies come out. Because once those movies come out, especially Marvel movies, they tend to do very well. A lot of these books are going to be way out of reach. So, hey, if you get one of them, that's one in your collection you're going to be really happy about. And if you have all 10 of these, or if you want to recommend more, please leave it in the comment section. If you want to do your own video, as usual, just post the link in the comment section of this video. I'll be more than happy to share your video and hopefully help you to get more subscribers. And speaking of subscribers, if you want a surprise subscriber shout out, just wait until the end to see which one I picked this week. If you want to ask for one, I have no problem with that. Leave that in the comment section. And hit the like button, hit the share button. Just don't hit the person next to you, because that's not nice. And we know the deal. It's not you. It's not I. It's We Love Comics. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next video. And I've already done a zoom in on Wolverine and the Hulk and all this other stuff. So I'm just going to keep zooming in until I do that.